Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? It's lovely to speak to you. Sorry, I'm 1 minute late. Just a last minute thing that I had to get done before we started the lessons. It's so good to see many of you here again today, and I'm really, really proud of you for joining. So, I want to start before we do the maths today. So we got some good maths to do. I want to start with a few of the questions that are in the chat room about what are we going to do for the next 3 months, how are we going to keep working and stuff. So we'll finish the sessions, these live sessions. For now on tomorrow, Friday. So we'll learn about parallel lines today and perpendicular lines tomorrow. But I want to talk to you briefly about what is going to happen in June, July and August. What me, Mr. Arnold, Angela and Hegarty Maths don't want to do. We don't want to leave you in the lurch. Our lives change when schools start back again, and both our other halves work as teachers, so it makes it very difficult. We will make sure we look after you. So let me tell you what we're going to do. And this isn't, tomorrow won't be goodbye forever. It'll be goodbye just for a little bit, but we're not leaving you guys all by yourself. So I'll show you what our intention was. You may not know this, and you don't, because I don't think I ever told you this, right? So the thing you learn with dealing with me sometimes, I'm a bit tricky. I'm a tricky customer. So sometimes I'm talking to you about something, but I'm trying to achieve something else with you. So what our objective was, me, Mr. Arnold and Angela, we always said, could we get these year 11s into good habits? Could we make sure they did half an hour to an hour every day during the weekdays for the next 6 weeks? That's what we said. We didn't say, could we teach them surds? Can we teach them linear equation? We didn't say that. We said, can we train these kids to get into good habits so that one day they'll have those good habits and they'll be able to do it themselves? So the reason I never change from 2 o'clock is to form a habit, you've got to do the same thing on very regularly for a long period of time. And we're at the point now where we've done like 25 lessons. Tomorrow will be 26. And we have consistently, as a group, as a family of maths learners, we've become a kind of a family. We've worked out that we have to be here at 2 o'clock every day, no matter what. And that's what I wanted to achieve with you. Along the way, I think we've learned some maths, which is really cool. We've had some good jokes and we've had lots of fun. But that was my primary objective, because what I found about life is this quote is probably the most important thing, how I try and live my life. I sometimes fail and I let myself down. In particular, my fitness isn't very good. Hasn't been for a few years. I've really let myself down. But we are what we do repeatedly. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. To be great, to be able to do A-level maths, to be able to be a strong mathematician, doing a little bit of maths every day, every day, never letting yourself down, that's how you get sensational. That's how you jump your grade up. That's how you make a difference to your life. Not by like the night before an exam just cramming, or the night before we go back to school cramming, by doing little and often. And it's hard. Humans aren't programmed to like that. But I'm telling you, and that's what I tell all my students, that's the truth, right? So I want to start here. I want to tell you what we've been planning for you. It's not finished yet. It will be finished by tomorrow, and tomorrow's session will go through this. But if you've got Hegarty Maths, we've planned out June for you. What you need to do at 2 o'clock every day. We've planned out July for you. What you need to do at 2 o'clock every day. June is top A-level, top GCSE topics. July is actual A-level topics. So we've picked A-level topics there. We've allowed you to see the first 3 topics you learn at A-level. And look what we've done in August. We've purposely left August blank, because really, what really changes your life is when you're able to enforce your own habits. But we're not going to leave you on your own. I've told you what you need to do in August, but I just haven't put it in each day for you, because I want you to do that. Now, we're finishing it off. It's still not pretty, and we still got to tweak the words and stuff. But I just want you to know we're working round the clock to make sure that you've got stuff to do in June, you've got stuff to do in July, and you're going to have stuff to do in August. And I'll go through it all tomorrow. Can I ask in the chat, sorry if I'm going on a bit, because I know we want to learn maths. Does that make sense? Do you guys feel like you're going to be all right from Monday onwards, assuming tomorrow we've finished these packs and you guys are looked after? Does that sound good? Mr. Arnold, by the way, Mr. Arnold, we've prepared an alternative pack for the kids that don't have Hegarty Maths. I just haven't shown it on the screen. We have prepared an alternative pack for you guys, and it's going to be on written paper pack. We've done all the hard work, right? So, okay, good stuff, guys. All right, and I can't tell you enough. the key to June, July, and August is sticking to 2 o'clock. Do not just go, I'm going to do these at 10 o'clock because Mr. Hegarty's not live and I'll just do it at 10. Do it 2 o'clock every day, half an hour, little and often. Success will come your way. And I want to tell you a story as well. You guys may think, I want to tell you 2 stories, right? I've probably told you this before, but when I got my first in Oxford, I decided 6 months in advance that I wanted to get first, right, in my final exams. And I wrote a plan out for 6 months to get up every day at 7 and do 5 hours of work, 7 till 12 every day for 6 months. I stuck to it. After 12 o'clock, I used to go out, play football, play rugby, go out in the evening with my friends, all sorts. But I did it every day. I took weekends off, always took weekends off. So I know these work because there were smarter people than me at Oxford, but I ended up getting a first. And it's because little and often practice, habit forming, changes your life. The second thing I want to say is, you may say to me, occasionally we have a bit of fun. I sound like a nice guy. Let me tell you what I used to do with the people who wanted to do A-level maths with me. I used to make them a pack over summer. And these were the kids that, maybe, got a B or a 6 or 7. And I'd make them a pack and I say, you have to finish that pack to do A-level maths. And they'd say, I'm going to do it, sir. And I say, you have to do it. Listen to me now. You have to do it. And when they come in September, the ones who did it were on the course. The ones who didn't weren't. Because I know in advance, if you guys go cold over summer and you don't do anything, it makes A-level so much harder. Just do half an hour a day, 5 days a week, and you're going to be loving A-level. Okay, and then there's a few questions in there about the alternative pack. Lashman, we're making it as we speak. We're staying up really late tonight. We're making a pack. We're using what other people are saying. So I will have those packs for you ready for tomorrow, right? So there will be a pack of work for you to do, whether you have access to Hegarty Maths or whether you don't have access to Hegarty Maths. No one's going to be left behind. All right? Shall I get on then? I'll get on and we're going to finish off our learning. We've gone over a bit here. We're going to finish off our learning for parallel lines. So today we're going to learn about parallel lines. Make sure you've got your brain, a pen and paper, and a can-do attitude because I know we can do it. So just an easy point to make at the start. This should be pretty obvious to you. But lines are parallel, 2 lines are parallel if they're the same distance apart all the way along their length. And in order for that to happen, the gradients must be equal. So one way of saying that 2 lines are parallel if their gradients are equal, right? So that's the only fact we need to know today in order to do all the exam questions. Every question today was an exam standard question that I found at AS. Just remember, if 2 lines are parallel, they must have the same gradient. So let's start with our first question. There is a line called L1, and it has this equation here. And there is a line called L2, and we're told it cuts the x-axis at 6, 0, and it's parallel to L1. Remember, that means it must have the same gradient. We are asked to find the equation of the line L2, write it in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. Okay, let me write down my facts about L1. So to start with L1, we have 5x take away 2y plus 12 is 0. Hopefully you remember, if you can write an equation of a line in the form y equals mx plus c in that form, the coefficient of x, the m, tells you the gradient. So what we're going to do, you have to remember this from prior learning, we're going to have to rearrange this. I add 2y to both sides, keep that 5x bad boy where it is, keep the plus 12, and have 2y here, and then divide both sides by 2, so I get 5 over 2x plus 6 equals y. Just to be clear, write it the other way around. Y is 5 over 2x plus 6. So for line L1, look at this. We know the gradient. It's 5 over 2. Now, moving on to trying to find the equation of L2, we can find it now because we know L2 is parallel to L1, so it has the same gradient. So for L2, we know 2 facts. We know, on the one hand, that m, its gradient, is 5 over 2. And the other fact we know is it goes through the pair of coordinates 6, 0. So we know it's got an x1, y1 value of 6, 0. And you've got to remember this formula for the equation of a line. Remember, we learnt this before. Y subtract y1 is m, x subtract x1. where x1, y1 is a coordinate on the line and m is the gradient. Substitute in, you can therefore write that y take away 0 is equal to 5 over 2 x take away 6. That's y is equal to 5 over 2 x take away 6. Times both sides by 2 to get rid of this bad boy. We get 2y equals 5x take away 6, or 2y is equal to 5x take away 30. And remember, we want it in this form over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to subtract 2y off both sides. So I've got 0 is equal to 5x take away 2y take away 30. And we have our equation in the form required. If you had done it the other way around, remember we learned about this before. An equivalent is 0 equals minus 5x plus 2y plus 30. That's an equivalent. Okay, so that's the first start. All we had to know there is parallel gradients are the same. We had to remember our rule to rearrange this to get the gradient. Then we knew a gradient and a point on the second line, and we have to use our y minus y1 is mx minus x1 formula, and then we got to do some algebra at the end to tidy up. So we're bringing together a lot of topics of the last week. I know you can do it. Over to you for this exam question. Off you go. Some answers coming in here. Asmal, Ali, Mariam, Rory, Branwen, Jack, Suman. Remember, I'm not saying anyone's wrong. Mr. On has a good point. Always read the question at the end one last time when you've got your answer. Make sure it's in the right form. Make sure you're happy with it. Make sure you haven't forgot anything out. Don't forget the equals 0 could drop a mark. Don't forget to put it in the right form. So just double check. So a lot of you are getting 4x take away 5y take away 40 equals 0. Let's have a look. Did this early this morning, so I can't. Yes. Now, just clarify, I wrote it the other way around. The alternative of this would be to write, actually, I probably wrote it the wrong way around myself. Two ways of writing this, either negative 4x plus 5y plus 40 equals 0, or the other way of writing this would be 4x take away 5y take away 40 equals 0. Either of these are both the correct answer. So either of those are both the correct answer. So that's a really good start. And guys, look, I don't think this was the bad boy we did yesterday. We really went into some difficult questions, but I did find this on an AS paper. It actually was in an AS paper. So don't shirk it. If you got this right, be proud of yourselves. We've achieved something quite special here. This is stuff that you won't, be expected to do till next year. It's all right, Harshini. We all make a mistake. I even just didn't write it in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. I mean, I kind of did, but I should have really written it that way around, shouldn't I? So we all make a little mistake. No big problems. Right, let's move ourselves on to the next one here. Let's move ourselves on to the next one. Here we go. Another exam question. All exam questions today. Find the equation of the line parallel to this line that passes through 3, 4. Give your answer in the form y equals ax plus b. So you've just got to give, basically it's very like the last one, but you just got to give your answer in a different form. So let's start off with this line. I'm going to call this one L1, just for my benefit more than anything. The first line. We know it's got equation 2x take away 5y plus 7 equals 0. If we want its gradient to use the parallel fact, we're going to rearrange. So I'm going to add 5y to both sides to get the following. And I'm going to divide both sides by 5. So I'm going to get 2/5 x plus 7/5 is equal to y. And just for the sake of writing it in y equals mx plus c form, just write it the other way around. 2/5 x plus 7/5. It's in the form we need, y equals mx plus c. The coefficient of the x is 2/5. That is telling me my m is 2/5. Okay. Now it says find the equation of a line parallel to this. So let's just call this L2. If it's parallel, it's got the same gradient. So we know that m is equal to 2/5. And it says it passes through the point 3, 4. So its x1, y1 value is 3, 4. Okay? So we've got everything we need. We just use the y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. So we say y take away 4 is equal to 2/5 x take away 3. And I'm going to expand this bracket over here. I'm going to write that as 2/5 x. And 3 times 2/5 is 6/5. So negative 3 times 2/5 is negative 6/5 over there. And I'm going to keep my y take away 4 here. Now, to get it in the form they want, you just want y as the subject. So y isolated on the left. I add 4 to both sides. Y is equal to 2/5 x, take away 6/5, add 4. I'm going to write 4 over 1. And you just go off and do a little bit of number work here. What is negative 6/5? Add 4 over 1. When you're adding or subtracting fractions, make the denominators the same. That's negative 6/5 plus times that by 5, times that by 5, 20 over 5. So you get yourself positive 14/5. So in the final answer, you would write y is 2/5 x plus 14/5. And it's worth just double checking the questions Mr. Arnold said earlier. Give your answer in the form y equals ax plus b, we did, where a and b are rational numbers. Rational numbers can be written as fractions. So that is a fraction, that is a fraction. Some good answers in there. Some of you wrote that out beautifully. Daniel, Will, Mariam, all sorts. Okay, one for yourself. You can do it. Off you go. Mushi, you could do it that way. If you still use y equals mx plus c, it will still come out the right answer. I really encourage you, though, to be familiar with the y minus y1 is mx minus x1 and the y equals mx plus c. If you are flexible in both, that's better for you than just being reliant on one. So to answer your question, Mushi, absolutely well done. There's no, perfect way, but I really encourage you, and this is a life lesson. Sometimes when, try other methods that you're not so good at, so you're well-rounded and you've got all methods on your armory. That means you're a stronger mathematician as well when you're flexible and adaptable, okay? Ooh, there's some tricky fractions with this one, given your answer. I couldn't remember that. I hope you guys are all right, because some of you are getting like nasty fractions. I don't remember that from this morning, so hopefully I don't have the wrong answer. Wow, 17 over 4. Okay. You would think I would remember it, but it was early in the morning when I did these. So let's have a look. What did I get? I don't remember. Yes, I got what you got. So y is equal to 3/4 x plus 17 over 4. 3/4 x plus 17 over 4. Yeah, it's a really good point by Mr. Arnold. I think when we first started these sessions off, you guys were decimalizing it all over the place. There's nothing wrong with decimals. They're fine. But now you guys seem really, really loving the fractions. And, I'm loving that. So well done. Now, the next question we're actually going to skip, but I'm going to leave it in, and I'm going to give you, Mr. Arnold's going to give you the answers after. It's a bit too easy. It's like this one, but it's just easy. So this one I'm skipping. I'm going straight to the last question, which is harder. So the middle one will be there for you to practice yourself. I believe all of you can do it. It's actually a bit easier in my opinion, if I'm honest. Right, here we go. The last question of the day. The midpoint, so we're bringing in old knowledge here. The midpoint of the line joining the points 7, 5 and -1, 3 has equation, find the equation of the line through M, which is parallel to this line. Okay, I'm going to take it in small steps. I'm first going to do my midpoint work. The question asked me some stuff about midpoint, so why don't we just go and deal with midpoints and see where we get to. It says M is the midpoint between these 2 points. So why don't we just find out where that is? What's the harm in finding out where that is? So the midpoint, what do? We find the average of the x's and the average of the y's. So we do 7 add -1 over 2. That would be the average of the x's. And then we average the y's. We do 5 add 3 over 2. And tidying that up, 7 add -1 is like 7 take away 1 is 6. 6 over 2 is 3. 5 plus 3 is 8 over 2 is 4. So we know this midpoint, we found its coordinates. Before it just said it, now we know the midpoint is at 3, 4. And the question says, find the equation of the line through M, which is parallel to this line. So we already know a point on the line at 3, 4. We need to know the gradient of that line. So it's parallel to this line. So let's use the gradient. Let's try and find the gradient next. Let's find the gradient of this equation here. So x over 2 plus y over 5 equals 1. Now, in order to find the gradient, we should write it in the form y equals mx plus c. So I'm going to take x over 2 off both sides. I get y over 5 is negative x over 2, add 1. I've just taken this, I've subtracted x over 2 off both sides because I want to isolate the y. So I've got y over 5 is equal to that. And I times both sides by 5. So y is therefore equal to negative 5x over 2 plus 5, times in both sides by 5. Because if I times this by 5, the 5 will end up on the numerator. And just to tidy up into the mx plus c form, I'm just going to write that there as negative 5 over 2x, like that, plus 5. Now, the good news about this is it's in the form y equals mx plus c, so that's your m. The gradient m is negative 5 over 2. Now, we're finally in a position where we can work out the equation of the line through M parallel to this line, because we know 2 facts. If it's parallel, okay, to this line, it must have a gradient negative 5 over 2. And if we know it goes through M, we know it has an x1, y1 coordinate, an example, as this, 3, 4. So you know what we can do? We can just use y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1. Substitute in 3, 4 and negative 5 over 2. Y take away 4 is equal to negative 5 over 2 x take away 3. Now, you know what? The reason this is quite cool is, you know when some people want to use y equals mx plus c, you get extra work. You could leave your answer like that. It didn't tell you give your answer in the form ax plus byc or y equals mx plus c. So you can leave your answer like that and no one can have a go at you. So that's why, going back to someone's question earlier, do you have to use y minus y1? You don't. But look, this just saved me loads of working. If I want to put it in the form y equals mx plus c out of interest, guys, I might make mistakes because I've got expand brackets and all sorts. Just out of interest, if you did put it in the form, it should have been negative 5 over 2x plus 23 over 2. Hopefully you can see how complicated it gets to write in that form. And in the other form, it would have been 0 equals 2y plus 5x take away 23. So both of those were alternates. But look, guys, why do extra work when you don't have to? Yeah? I just live it like that and I'm a happy boy because I don't have to go down the fraction route and actually have to do extra work. And that can save you time. If you're having an exam, it can save you time on trickier questions. So always handy to have y minus y1 is mx minus x1 in your back pocket. Does look ugly, George. I agree with you. It does look a bit ugly, but you know what? What's a nice way of saying it? It gives you time to be prettier elsewhere. How about I say it like that? It gives you the time to be prettier elsewhere and get harder questions right because you've got more time on them. So, Mariam, love your style. Absolutely love your style. Well done for getting it. But alternatively, you could have left it like that. So, that's all we're doing today. We have written you extra exam questions. So, we've got 4 exam questions in the review exercise. Mr. Arnold's going to post them in. We've got answers. And also, remember, go back over the lesson. I did skip a question out, but look, I don't want to do it now because tomorrow we need, today we had to do a bit of time about what's happening in June, July, August. This here, you'll be able to do it, no problem. And Mr. Arnold will post the answers now. So remember today, go back over today, make sure you can do these 4 exam questions, make sure you can do the your turn and my turn, and tomorrow we'll do perpendicular, and we need to talk about what happens in June, July, August. Thanks for Mr. Arnold for posting those. So I'm really proud of you guys today. Thanks so much for joining. Do send the notes on Twitter and stuff like that. And me, Mr. Arnold and Angela will work hard tonight to make those packs ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow's session, don't forget to tune in tomorrow because tomorrow's really important. It's going to be setting you up for the next 3 months to get you A-level ready, to give you the skills you need, to give you the resource you need to be able to do these 2 o'clock sessions on your own. Please tune in. Make sure you tune in. Lovely stuff. All right then. Take care, everyone. Bye.